Now throw away your magic wand and pick up your crystal ball and tell us what California healthcare is going to look like in 5 to 10 years.
Well, I'll say ditto to Ian's comments. And, while he may have gleaned a few things from me over the years, I got a lot more from him. And I think he's right on target. But I see the following, at least in the next 5 years, maybe 10. More polarization, more pressure on providers because of the cost and the quality and the pressure for transparency, and people hanging on to things that they think will make a difference, but they make marginal difference as opposed to create fundamental change. I believe that within that period of time, we're going to see more consolidation, but a continuation of fragmentation. Remember that the more universal we become as a society, the more tribal we behave. And the more we differentiate, the more we integrate, and vice versa. I mean, there are just all these underlying currents within people, and healthcare is no different. This is one thing that I find to be a really anomaly. In this country, we have certain rights, but those rights are probably not what a lot of people think. We have a right to bear arms. We have a right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. We have the freedom of speech. We have the right to bear arms, but the government doesn't provide everybody with a gun. Now, we're going to have health care as a right. If we do, then it seems to me like the obligation would be for the government to not necessarily provide it all, but to ensure that it is, quote, available. And I think that we'll move in that direction in the next 5 to 10 years. It would be a tragic mistake for California to adopt a single-payer program. I don't care what it is, because here will be the result. The cost will be underestimated. They will become unmanageable. In-migration to California will be horrendous. If we think that we're getting a lot of homeless in now, we're getting quite a few people that are homeless that migrate into California. If we're the only state with guaranteed health insurance provided through a single-payer government system, we're going to be inundated, because every state will find a way to give a bus ticket to the people to come to California because they can get rid of them in their states. And the last thing is, what kind of an infrastructure do you need in order to provide that? California lived on the heroin and the intoxication of in-migration of health professionals from World War II to 2000. And that dried up. And because of that, we do not have the infrastructure to educate the workforce we need. We heard about that this morning in behavioral health and other areas. And the jurisdictional disputes among providers are going to continue to escalate in the next decade as we try to figure out how are we going to deliver services. The development that we will not control, but we have to marshal, is technology and the use of virtual systems and things that are new and will change the way healthcare is delivered. A lot of the care that was delivered in hospitals will be in clinics or ambulatory settings. Much of the care that used to be in ambulatory settings will be at home. And the monitoring and the connection of all of those will be done virtually. I have been evaluating a company in Seattle that has developed a card that has a chip on it that is double encrypted, and it will talk to any electronic record. And the patient can carry that card and always have a current updated medical record. I have a lot of experience, all of it bad, unfortunately, in a statewide Rio that we tried to put together with Molly Coy as our CEO. And that experience and the reaction I got from a lot of other people that were stakeholders caused me to conclude that the ownership of records is so strong that we will never have a single data source. Can we ever get to the point where we have an intermediary that is a hub that distributes the information and is always going to be current? San Diego is way ahead of almost anybody else in California in that regard, and doing a great job. It seems to me that it's better for the patient to control the information. Remember that a record, whether it's in a doctor's office or in a physical therapy clinic, community clinic, or a hospital or a nursing home, is not, the actual information is not the property of the owner of that record. They own the record, but the information on it is owned by the patient. And if patients can carry a driver's license and a credit card, it seems to me they could carry a card that is a card with their information on it that would always be totally up to date, and it would be a lot easier then to access it. I don't know whether this was an idea I came up with 20 years ago, and I got shot down. And I've had conversations with people over the years, and now there is a company that's got it. And I'm going to evaluate it to see what it's like. We may end up with some things like that that will be informational as well as practical. But that's just one example. I mean, we could cite a lot of them. And how California leads the way in adjusting to this new virtual world will be instrumental in the direction of the nation. And we've got a great opportunity out here with all of the innovation and the ideas being generated in the state to be the national leader, and I hope we are.